Today we are going to study email, letters, and text messages. This is technical and business writing, and my name is Muhammad Usman, and the lecture is number 9. So let's start it. Email function style format. Until the emergence of social networking service like LinkedIn and Facebook, email has seemed like the only communication tool you need for professional work. Despite their popularity, it's not likely that social networking service will replace email. The following focus on the email function style and format. So there are two important things here. One is the important email functions, and second thing is the email format and style. Okay, let's start with important email functions. Sorry. If you use email in professional work, make sure you are comfortable with the following not so basic skills. Uh, Number one is to save email into files or folders. Organize your sent and received emails into meaningful folder. For example, clients, staff, projects, friends, and family. And the second one is the keep copies of email you send. Don't delete the email you send. Sometimes it disappears into the internet void. Recipient may accidentally lose it, or you cannot remember what you wrote. After that, search email folders. Know how to search your email folders for topics or for the names of recipients or senders. Inevitably, you will forget what you wrote to a client or what that client wrote to you. Doing a quick search is far better than scanning through hundreds of emails. Create and use distribution list. Increase your email efficiency by creating distribution lists, group of related email address such as those for staff or clients. Use a signature. If you need to include your full name, title, organization, phone and fax number and other such in your email, set up a signature. It automatically pops into every email you send. Use templates. If someone of your email has standard content, set up template. For example, create a template for your standard requests for bids or announcements of services. Import the template into your email and just change the necessary details. Proofread and spell check your email. Spell check very Spell check every email you send. Always proofread your email, checking especially for missing words which a spell check cannot catch. Imagine the devastating effect of leaving out a single note. Plan how to access your email on the road. Know how to access email while on business trip. Use a satellite-based service that is always available everywhere. You can also use your mobile data. It is available most of the places, but in some hilly areas it's not available. Otherwise, use a free email service such as Gmail, or use software that enable you to log in into your office computer and work as if we're sitting right there. So these are the some important email functions. So let's move towards the email format and style. In the early days of email, all you had was plain text. Now you can include different fonts, different type size, additional colors, graphics, and tables, and even animation in your email. As for style in email message, okay, here are some suggestions. And this is the one example of, sorry, this is the one example of email. Um, so I have pasted a figure here, so you can get the idea of the email. So let's start it. Um, so here is the format and style. Then start it with informality. Adjust the tone of your email according to the recipients and situations. Informally, informality is common in email, but think twice about using humor or sarcasm. With business clients and high level management, especially those whose native language is not English. So you have to be very careful about this thing. Brevity email messages are normally rather short, for example, under a dozen lines, and the paragraphs are short as well. Most people don't like extended reading on the computer screen. Consider putting lengthy message in a printable document formatted as PDF. You can attach them with your email. Specific subject line to ensure email gets read and has the desired impact. Make the subject line specific and compelling. If recipients have 60 to 70 messages waiting in the inbox and all they can see are the subject lines, they are more likely to read the ones that look important or interesting. Important information first. High volume email users tend to lose interest or patience quickly. Put the most important information at the beginning of your message. Use subsequent sentences of elaboration, short paragraph, and space between paragraphs. Whenever possible, break your message into paragraphs of 3 or 4 lines. And when you divide your message into paragraphs, skip a line between them. So there should be one line between each paragraph. So the line will work as a separator between paragraphs. Highlighting and emphasizes. Use typographical effects, bold, italic, color, different fonts, tables, and graphic consistently and in moderation. You can also use uh, tables and graphics to reinforce your message. Headings. If your email requires reader to press the page down key, use heading to identify the subtopics within the message. For those heading, use a slightly larger font and bold. Automatic replies, lists. If you have key points to emphasize, or if you are presenting step-by-step information, use bulleted and number list, respectively. Contemporary email software provides automatic formatting for both types of list. Automatic replies. The reply function in email is a great time saver, but also a disaster waiting to happen. Because email is often addressed to multiple recipients, it's easy to broadcast a reply to all of them when you intended to reply to only one. Imagine that in replying to a partner on a project, you question the competence of another partner on the same project. But what if this reply also goes both partners? Okay, then other concerns, as mentioned early in the my previous lectures, email has become so overused and overabused that our inboxes are often overwhelmed. And for this, there are some recommendations. I will discuss it in the slide later. So this is all about the emails. Let's start with the business letters. Face-to-face telephone and email communication are just not right for certain kinds of correspondence. Use a hard copy letter. So everywhere you cannot use telephone or emails. Most of the places you need to use hard copy letters. So uh, let's discuss on it. When you want to make sure that the recipient receives it, take it seriously, studies it at length, and acts appropriately upon it. When the communication is long and packed with information, when you want to permanent record of the communication. When organizations such as the US Department of Defense and the Department of Health and Human Services have strict guidelines on sending certain communications as printed hard copy. Okay, after that, here comes the standard components of business letters. Okay, here are the standard components for business letters. Company's stationery and logo. If you are if you use company stationery, begin your letter about an inch below the logo. Don't use logo stationery on following pages. Use the matching stationery without the logo. If you are an independent consultant, design your own logo with an interesting type style, maybe some combinations of bold and italic, and maybe horizontal lines above or below your name, title, and interest. Okay. After that, headings comes. The heading contains your address and the sender address and the date. If you are using letterhead stationery, only the date is needed. Inside address, this portion includes the name, title, company, and full address of recipient of the letter. Make this the same as it appears on the envelope. This element becomes important when sequential staff or discard the envelope. Subject line. Some business letters style make use of a subject line, the same kind that you see in memoranda. This element announces the topic purpose or both of the letters. For example, request for copyright status on the document, or in response to your request for copyright status. Salutation. This is the dear sir element in context where no obvious recipient exists, or where the recipient does not matter, omit the salutation if you must include a salutation but don't have a specific name. Call the recipient organization. Also ask for title and department name, or create a department or group name that is responsibly close. For example, use dear recruitment. recruitment officers, like you don't know exactly what, so you can use dear recruitment officers. If all else fails, use the infamous to whom it may concern. Notice that the salutation for business letters is punctuated with the colon. So here comes the body. The body begins just after the salutations and continues until the complimentary close. Text is single space. First line of paragraphs are not indented, and double spacing is used between paragraphs. For writing strategies and style, to use it, the body, see writing style of business, uh, complementary close. In letters where there is no interpersonal action, this sincerely your element can also be omitted, capitalized, only the first word and punctuated with the comma. Signature block. This is the blank area for the signature followed by your type name, title and organization. Don't forget to include those letters that identify the degree or title that you work so hard to earn. Below your name, include your title and the name of your organization. And notation. These elements are the CC and include abbreviation below. And what are the abbreviations? Uh, CC is the carbon copy, and enclosure is the enclosure or attachment. If you have anyone, if you are any attachment, then use this one. Enclosure attachment indicate that other documents have been attached to the letter. If you want, you can specify exactly what you have attached. So here's the in the figure you can see there are three documents, so you can use in this case. So after the following pages, if you use letterhead stationery, use the matching pages, the same quality paper but without the letterhead on the following page. Okay, so let me share one picture with you of letter. So after watching the after this image, your business, your letter concept will be there. So here's an example. On the top is a date, then date, heading, and then so on. These all things are already have been discussed. Okay, so after studying memos, emails, and letters, so here comes which to use. So long story short, working professionals have their disposal a variety of communication media. If you have a question for someone in your building, run down hall and ask in person. If it's to someone within your organization but a different location, send email or write a mail. If it's a someone external to your organization, send an email or text message, or write a business letter. If it's urgent or informal, make a telephone call or send an email or text message if you want to build your reputation or that of your organization. And if you want to join into ongoing discussion in the engineering community, use social media such as Facebook, LinkedIn, blog, forums, and Twitter. So this is the overview of these trees. The emails inside and outside organization, memos inside organization, letterheads outside organization usually. So okay, these are the main things that are used in formal communication, emails, memos, and the letters. So after that comes the phone, text message, or paper. These this is also important. Uh, okay, let's have a look on these things. The discussion whether to use telephone or face-to-face communication as opposed to written communication is fairly obvious. In telephone or face-to-face communication, these are the issues. So there are issues in it. So I have mentioned it. Let me explain you. Permanent record. Number one is the permanent record. There is no record of what transpires in your phone conversation unless you record the conversation. Text message can be saved, but they are so limited that they are not a good option for professional activity. The second one is the availability of the recipient. Mobile phones have reduced the problem known as telephone tag. Still, recipients of a communication may not be in their offices or table to answer their mobile phone. Text messages remain available until the recipient can review them. But again, their limitations are such that they are not a practical option. Attitude of the recipients may not take the phone text message or in-person communication as seriously as they would if it were in writing. uh, Purpose, length, and complexity of the topics. Some topics are just too much for conversation. For example, you can't present details of product specification or a proposal over a phone. So these are the some things on phone text messages. So after this slide, I think you will get the idea where to use these phone text messages or paper if you want. So after that, emails, instant messages, or paper. The decision gets harder when you choose between the various form of internet communication and print. If you use email, you may wonder why you should bother with phone calls, business letters, or memos at all. Email and instant messages eliminate the borders of stamp, envelopes, and mailboxes, not to mention the delay in delivery and response. Unlike telephone communication, email doesn't require this recipient to be in the right place at the right time. They can read it when they are ready. And unlike telephone communication, email constitutes a record of communication, although viewed by some as unofficial. However, print remains the preferable media in the certain instance, and sometimes the only communication media. Here are issues to consider. Recipients. Obviously, if recipients don't have email, can't uh, really access email, or just do not like it, printed letters or memos are necessary. Especially it happens in the government offices. Most of the people don't use email; they use letters. Need for reply or forwarding. If the letters or memo contains pages that the recipient must fill out and send, hard copy may be preferable. Security issues. You can assume that any email you send has a chance of being seen by anyone in the world. Think twice about sending confidential information, new product specification, confidential data about a project, or sensitive information about a colleague by email. In person discussion of the memo. If the message must be used in a face-to-face situation, print may be preferable. If everybody must print the memo for the meeting, you might as well send it in the print and thus eliminate a potential glitch. Importance of letter length of the information. For some, even now deep into the age of internet, email lacks the feeling of settled, established information. It seems like ephemeral, not a medium for serious business. Some people are less likely to take an electronic message seriously than they are a hard copy memorandum or letter. In your face factor. For some, a printed memo sitting on their desk just cannot be avoided. Of course, they depend for some professionals. Hard copy mail is more convenient than email. Ultimately, you have to base your decision on which medium your colleagues are most in habit of using. So here is a brief. We have already have a brief discussion on. Sorry, here's a brief discussion that I have done on this email instant messages or paper. So now you have get enough idea on email instant messages and paper. So this is hopefully this is the last thing that I want to discuss with you, and I want to tell you about something. Uh, when not to send an email. So this is a very important thing. You always have to keep in mind. So standard advice is not to email when you are mad, when you are drunk, when you are bored, or when you are just feel like gossiping. So please don't send an email in this kind of situation. Here recommends not using email in the following situation. Uh, for most of these following situation for most of these situation, it's recommended a phone call, face-to-face communication meeting. Very soon I'm discussing these following situation, but just let me complete this thing. For most of these situation, it's recommended a phone call, face-to-face meeting, or audio video conferencing for collaboration on long documents. uh, He recommends screen sharing technology, for example, web-based meeting software application such as Adobe Web Connect, and there are so many. If face-to-face meeting are not possible for interesting news and documents, it is recommended posting to a wiki or social networking site such as LinkedIn, and using RSS as newsfeed capabilities. On the other hand, collaborative project management tools such as Google Docs, Google Sites, and Microsoft SharePoint concentrate communication within the frame of a project. Project communication stay within the project rather than coming to the regular email. So these are the following situation that I want to share with you. Um, Number one, to communicate bad news, complaints, or criticism, to seek information that is not simple and straightforward, to attempt communications that will require lots of back and forth exchanges, to seek approval or something that is complicated or controversial, to send complicated instructions, to request comments on a long document, the request information from a group on a recurring basis, the achieve consensus, the explore or brainstorm a subject or idea, to send news interesting documents like links, policies, directory, updates, and other for your stuff, for your information stuff like FYI. Normally we use for your information. So this is all about emails and letters. In the previous lecture, we have discussed memorandums, memos. So now I think you have get enough information where to use memos, where to use emails, and where use to letters. So this is for today's lecture. Please watch it well. If you have any queries, please write it down